behind mansion walls.
It appeared execution style. Each was shot with at least one shot to the base of the skull.
Who's killing off a wealthy Southern dynasty?
I'm the last member of my family, and that makes me a suspect.
And later, a tragic family massacre.
Awful, horrendous family tragedy.
But which sibling pulled the trigger?
We are looking at one of the gravest miscarriages of justice in modern times.
I'm Christopher Mason. They say blood is thicker than water. But when a vast fortune is at stake, family ties fly out the window, and poisonous envy comes to roost.
Officers stared death in the face.
I saw glass flying, and I heard the sound. What else can it be? It's a machine gun.
A car chase like no other.
We couldn't afford to shoot because those children was in there.
And a memory they will never shake.
I was more mad than anything, you know. I couldn't believe what was happening.
It was just there one instant. This huge explosion, and it was just gone.
There came a storm, thunder and lightning and all that. It just looked like the Lord was mad at it, being mad at everything. Mad at the whole situation.
In North Carolina high society, they call the sweet aroma of tobacco the smell of money. The riches of big tobacco built the city of Winston-Salem. And they built a great local dynasty, the Newsome family.
Okay, y'all looking, everybody? Ready?
Pride of their brood is daughter Susie.
Her grandfather was in tobacco. Her father was working for R.J. Reynolds Tobacco.
All right, stop, don't move, don't move.
There was a well-known family in the area, and her mother was also a Sharp, which was another well-known family there. Her sister was the state Supreme Court Chief Justice.
Susie probably thought she was destined to be that Southern belle. She was an attractive young woman, came from a well-to-do family.
Okay.
In 1966, at Wake Forest University, she meets a handsome man preparing for dental school, Tom Lynch.
It wasn't like mad, passionate love. It was just like, you know, they're from a nice family, you're from a nice family, you get married and live happily ever after.
Their marriage produces two boys, John and Jim.
They were both very smart, good-looking, both athletic. They both had good senses of humor.
In 1976, Tom Lynch moves his young family out west to Albuquerque, New Mexico. Tom sees the growing city as the perfect place to set up a new dental practice. His wife Susie calls it lower class, not the kind of city that's right for her. And ever since childhood, temperamental Susie always got her way.
She didn't really like it out here because she had no family. And, of course, we were struggling. And, I don't know, things just kind of drifted apart. Finally, it was just a matter of can't do it anymore, you know. So she took off in '79.
After only 3 years out west, Susie returns home to North Carolina with sons John and Jim.
Within a few years, the separation turns into a bitter custody battle. But Susie's family connections make it a one-sided fight. When your aunt is a former Supreme Court Chief Justice, you've got the Southern establishment in your corner.
Tom's visitation rights with his sons dwindled to just 4 weeks a year.
I became kind of the Disneyland dad. You know, when they came out, I'd take a few days off and we'd go to the Grand Canyon, or we'd take a little trip somewhere. And that's about all I could do.
In the spiteful custody fight, Tom's ex-wife becomes fixated on two imagined enemies. One is Tom. The other is his mother, Dolores, a wealthy widow living in Kentucky. Susie and Dolores have been at each other's throats since the day they met.
She was pretty tough, and I don't think she liked Susie from the get-go, and vice versa. And so maybe she recognized something in her that I didn't.
Then, in July 1984, Tom is at work at his dental practice when a policeman arrives.
First he said there was an accident, and then he said your mother and sister appears to be a robbery and they had been murdered. I just said, what happened? I mean, what the heck happened? Who would do that to my mother and sister?
Dolores, she had been shot one time in the head and one time in the back.
Back in Kentucky, Lieutenant Dan Davidson is called to the Lynch family home north of Louisville.
Jane Lynch, we found her inside the house. She'd also been shot in the back and the head.
Not what you expect to see in this end of town.
This isn't a place where this happens. There just wasn't any leads at all, you know.
And this isn't looking at all like a robbery.
Looked like an execution style, you know.
Police are mystified. A wealthy mother and daughter with no known enemies, just executed.
Didn't take anything. Didn't even make it look like a robbery. Just left.
Making things tougher, the killer picked up used shell casings.
We didn't find one case. They should have been 4 of them, and we didn't find any.
One thing is left behind. A bullet that passed through Jane's neck and into a window frame.
We had the crime lab come in, and that bullet turned out to be the most important piece.
Police need to eliminate suspects. First on the list, Tom Lynch.
Tom was a sole surviving member of that family, and the family was quite well off, you know.
Suddenly it dawned on me that I'm the last member of my family, and that makes me a suspect.
We took him, gave him a polygraph, and run through the ringer for a while. We even checked on the possibility of him hiring somebody to do it.
Tom Lynch can't even bury his loved ones without the gaze of suspicion.
I can remember going to the funeral, and I remember sitting at this little church my mom went to out in the country, and there were all these older people, you know, sitting around there. And then I'm sitting there thinking they all thought that I probably had something to do with this. And I was just like so helpless, you know, so angry and so helpless. And it was an awful thing, you know.
A polygraph test clears Tom's name, and the case goes cold. In North Carolina, Tom Lynch's ex-wife, Susie, has a new man in her life. Fritz Klenner has close links to Susie's family, the Newsomes. Very close links.
She was beginning to see Fritz, who happened to be her first cousin.
And with Cousin Fritz, not everything is as it seems.
Fritz had been masquerading as a physician. He ran around his doctor's office in a white smock giving injections.
Fritz is obsessed with copying his father, a prominent local doctor.
He had passed himself off as a physician, and he had helped his father in the clinic, and I really don't know if he had a degree in anything.
Susie's new lover has her parents, Bob and Florence, worried. He's her cousin for a start, and he has always had a dark fascination for guns and spy-style intrigue. They tell Tom Lynch they'll testify on his behalf in his legal fight to see more of his sons.
They want to do whatever they can do to smooth over the situation, and they want everything to work out okay.
And then, in May 1985, 1 week before the next visitation hearing, the unthinkable happens.
Did you hear that?
Turns out that Saturday night, somebody went to the Newsome house and murdered Bob, Florence, his wife, and his mother.
In Winston-Salem, North Carolina, everyone knows the old mansion of the Newsome family.
This was a big house and kind of a neat old place, at the edge of town.
It all seems so peaceful.
I do remember.
But without even realizing it, the Newsomes have set a deadly storm in motion.
Well, somebody just walked in and shot them all up.
Bob Newsome,
What is this? What are you doing here? Oh.
his wife Florence, his mother Hattie, shot coldly and carefully.
It appeared execution style. Each was shot with at least one shot to the chest with what appeared to be a finishing shot at either the head or the base of the skull.
The rambling mansion, scene of so many joyous Thanksgivings and Christmases, is now a house of horrors. The killers meticulously cover their tracks, but one little misstep leaves a gruesome clue. It's on the ring finger of Florence Newsome.
Mrs. Newsome, her ring finger had been cut in order to remove her diamond ring, and her throat had also been slashed as well. For some reason, she seemed to be quite a bit more of a target for the perpetrator than anyone else did.
That kind of violent hate says this attack may have been personal. And Bob Newsome has a cryptic message beside his body.
There were some papers that had been taken from a briefcase that belonged to Mr. Newsome, and they were in the floor near Mr. Newsome's body, and someone had actually set them on fire and burned them to an ash.
Another clue is in the absence of clues.
There were several bullet rounds expended in the houses, .45 caliber rounds. There was probably as many as 10 or 11 shots fired in the house, and we only found 2 spent casings.
The killer had carefully collected the spent shells. Detective Sergeant Alan Gentry knows that is not the mark of your average criminal.
Whoever had done these murders was cold and calculating enough to try to pick up and secure those because we can match those to a particular weapon.
When Tom Lynch hears the shocking news about his former in-laws, it sounds all too horrifyingly familiar. Just 10 months ago, his mother and sister had been killed the same way, shot in the back of the head. In their own home, by a killer who cleans up the shell casings. And the deadly connection between the 2 murdered families, Tom's ex-wife Susie and her new love, Fritz Klenner.
I said, I know who did this. I said, Fritz Klenner did this. I said, listen, this guy is with my ex-wife and my kids, and I fear for my kids right up and including their lives.
For Kentucky Detective Dan Davidson, the link between the 2 family executions seems clear.
That information about the Newsomes is too funny for them to get killed about the same way,
Susie seemed to be the link that we really needed to look at pretty quickly.
But when police arrange to interview Susie, she goes for coffee instead.
Like, you're going to go have coffee with a girlfriend instead of meeting with officers that are trying to find the murderer of your mother, father, and grandmother. A little bizarre.
Eventually, Susie tells police just who the killer is. It's a man whom she has become fixated on with hate. Her ex-husband, Tom Lynch.
She put all the blame at that time on her estranged husband, thought he had gambling debts.
Alongside her during the interview is her cousin Fritz.
Don't you believe me?
Fritz Klenner was present for that first interview. He introduced himself as a physician. When challenged, he curtly told us that he was not licensed in the state of North Carolina. After we interviewed Susie, we felt like her cousin was playing an integral role in her life in this relationship.
And when police quiz a friend of Fritz, they get a major break.
Fritz had told him that he was a contract operative for the CIA, and part of his job was to actually kill or assassinate known drug dealers.
The friend has a confession. He dropped Fritz near the Newsome house on the day of the murders.
At that point, we were alarmed enough, felt like that we had to go ahead and take action. But that turned out to be a little tougher than we thought.
We went to where Susie's apartment was and had it under surveillance.
Before police can make their move, Fritz Klenner makes his, driving off with Susie and Tom Lynch's young sons.
And that's when the chase started and everything happened.
We got right behind him. He got up to a red light, and the next thing he did was start firing at us and everybody around the intersection with a Uzi.
Very few officers in this country have seen fully automatic gunfire in front of them. There's almost a sense of disbelief. I saw glass flying and I heard the sound. What else can it be? It's a machine gun.
And Fritz Klenner hasn't finished yet.
What we were trying to coordinate was the highway patrol to set up a roadblock to try to stop him that way.
Dispatch, need a roadblock 2 miles up the highway. We've got a dangerous van.
We were trying to arrange that roadblock when he decided to detonate a bomb in the vehicle.
And it just blew up. It seemed like it just disappeared from the highway.
There was debris everywhere.
First saw Susie. She was blown in two. Fritz, laying about 20 feet away from her, he was alive. I tried to get a dying declaration out of him or something. And a few minutes later, he died too.
And inside the wreckage, John and Jim Lynch, aged 8 and 10, both dead. Only weeks later will the detectives discover an awful twist in this tale.
We found out later after an autopsy that they had been poisoned with cyanide.
Apparently, the cyanide wasn't working fast enough. And Susie just turned around there and shot them both in the head.
A mother's final selfish act.
It wasn't going to turn out the way that she wanted it to. Then she's going to use her next option. And, you know, if I can't have them, nobody will.
He thought he could outsmart the police. But Fritz Klenner's careful executions did leave clues. Ballistics evidence matches a bullet from the Lynch murders to a rifle he sold to a gun shop. It's enough for a Kentucky grand jury to find Fritz and Susie responsible for the killings of Dolores and Jane Lynch. The reasons for Susie's deadly killings are harder for the law to resolve.
I think Susie became a hateful person over the years.
This is what you get.
Why she killed the boys? Just spite. She didn't want me to have them. She didn't want them around.
The incredible hatred that she had for her estranged husband, to the point that you would destroy your own children, is just a normal, rational person just simply cannot comprehend that sort of mental state.
And the best thing I ever did was bring them back here to bury them. They all wanted me to bury them there, and I just said, you know, I can't bury them here in this place. And they're coming home with me, so I brought them back.
A phone call in the dead of night rarely brings good news.
Around 3:15 in the morning, his father phoned him and said, "Come over quickly. Sheila's got a gun. She's gone berserk."
Shocked from his sleep, Jeremy Bamber desperately phones police.
My father just called. He said my sister's gone berserk.
It was just an awful, horrendous family tragedy.
In the English county of Essex, about 2 hours east of London, is the quaint village of Tolleshunt-Darcy.
It's a small community with its own parish church, the village shop. So it was a solid local community and obviously farming orientated.
In Tolleshunt-Darcy, Neville and June Bamber are well-to-do and well-known.
Boys, sit up straight.
Neville Bamber was a pillar of the local establishment.
Mother?
He had been a church warden. He was on the local magistrate's bench. June was very involved in church affairs.
Bless us, O Lord.
And no doubt they were well known in the neighborhood.
The White House Farm is the Bamber family's impressive country home.
They were wealthy farmers. Neville Bamber was a successful farmer, came from a farming family.
They owned lots of land in the area, most of which had been passed down from June's father. He was the great landowner in the area, so they were very well-to-do.
But Neville and June Bamber have a vexing problem. These well-heeled landowners are unable to have children. So who will inherit the Bamber name and fortune?
Bless our Lord. Amen.
Amen.
Unfortunately, Neville and June couldn't have children, which is why they adopted, first of all, Sheila and then Jeremy.
In August 1985, 28-year-old daughter Sheila is living back in her parents' home.
She was divorced. The marriage had lasted about 5 years. She had 2 6-year-old twin sons.
Her strict religious mother, June, does not approve.
Sheila and her mother did not get on.
Not with your tears, please.
June disapproved very much of Sheila's lifestyle, conceiving before marriage, 2 abortions. There was much in Sheila's private life that June was very unhappy about.
Son Jeremy is 24. He lives a few minutes down the road in a separate farmhouse owned by his father.
I think always felt scarred by the fact he'd been adopted. And he seemed to want to attract attention to himself, and he liked to shock people.
So is the medication helping?
He liked to bait his mother, provoke her, by saying outrageous things.
How dare you bring that up?
What's wrong with asking her that? It's inappropriate.
Neville and June Bamber do not have the happy family they once dreamed of.
What's medication? It's medicine, honey.
Daughter Sheila has had a troubled life and a troubled mind.
Sheila had been diagnosed with a schizoaffective disorder, which meant she would have disordered thinking.
A young beauty, Sheila had a brief career in front of the camera.
She was a former model, but she hadn't done any modeling in the last 5 years.
Her mental illness cut that modeling career short.
Sheila had certainly had a number of psychotic episodes where she simply hadn't been in control of herself.
She was very religious. She thought a lot about God and the devil. She had talked with her psychiatrist about the fact that she was potentially suicidal.
And it seems that in the early hours of August 7th, 1985, Sheila Bamber's mad visions finally became real.
You have to help me. My father's just called. He said my sister's gone berserk. She's got a gun. There. See that? So
Just before 4 a.m., Jeremy Bamber meets police outside the White House farm. Everyone is on edge.
The police and Jeremy went up to the house to have a look at it. And at this stage, they saw movement in the window.
I saw a shadow.
There. I think I saw.
Clearly, they were being told that something very dangerous and very serious was going on here. If there was someone with a loaded gun killing people.
3.5 hours later, armed backup arrives and police decide it's safe to go inside. There, they find a scene of unimaginable violence.
Neville was first shot while he was upstairs. And then he staggered downstairs, leaving some blood on the wall of the stairs, into the kitchen, and there he was fatally killed, fatally shot.
Upstairs, Sheila Bamber's twin sons, Nicholas and Daniel, lie dead in their beds. One still sucking his thumb.
All the evidence is that they were shot in their sleep, and thank God knew nothing about it.
And in the master bedroom, June Bamber.
June had been shot first lying in bed. She then got up and walked towards the bedroom door, where she was fatally shot.
Also, near June on the floor is her adopted daughter, Sheila.
The rifle was resting against her chin, and there was blood trickling from her face.
It looks like a tragic murder-suicide.
Tragically, Sheila completely flipped it. She shot her children, shot her mother, killed her father, and then turned the gun on herself.
Had Sheila's inner demons finally taken over?
I think all the police officers on the scene, together with the police doctor and the pathologist, they were all writing their notes up that this was 4 murders and a suicide. An open and shut case.
Tragic, horrific, but straightforward. A grieving Jeremy Bamber is allowed to bury his parents, sister, and nephews. Case closed. Or so they thought.
Yes, hello. I'm calling up about the Bamber murders.
Sheila Bamber had long battled the voices in her head.
Very troubled indeed, very troubled. She had all sorts of illusions. She thought that the devil had conceived her children.
The one-time fashion model was diagnosed a paranoid schizophrenic. And it seems that on August 7th, 1985, the voices took control.
I think the crime itself was utterly extraordinary. You had 5 members of the family shot dead in this farmhouse one August evening.
Her parents and twin sons murdered. And finally, she takes her own life.
She was so disturbed She just wasn't rational, poor girl.
The sole survivor in the family is Sheila's younger brother, Jeremy. When he buries his family, his grief is on display for the world to see.
Three days after the murders, the Bamber relatives conduct their own search of White House Farm. In the downstairs office, Jeremy's cousin opens a closet, and lying at the back, he finds a tiny piece of evidence that will transform this case.
It's a silencer that fits the rifle used in the murders. On it are tiny specks of Sheila's blood and a hair. If it was a murder that ended with a suicide, then how did the silencer get down here?
Was she supposed to have taken the silencer off and put it carefully away in the downstairs cupboard and then gone back upstairs to kill herself? That the whole thing didn't make sense at that stage.
Tests also show that with the silencer attached to the murder weapon, Sheila could never have put the muzzle under her chin and reached the trigger.
Sheila would not have been able to operate the gun to kill herself with the sound moderator on it, which obviously made it far lengthier than it normally was.
And an even bigger question is, could Sheila have used a gun at all?
All the relatives said that Sheila had no knowledge or experience of using guns, and wouldn't have been able to use guns, let alone reload them.
This was a very efficient shooting. 25 shots fired, 24 hit their target.
Had Sheila carried out the crimes, I just don't think there would have been that sort of ratio of shots on target.
As the murder-suicide theory is questioned, Jeremy Bamber is off enjoying his inheritance.
Jeremy went away the weekend after the killings. He then went away to Amsterdam for a few days with his girlfriend and another friend.
Next, Jeremy skips to Saint-Tropez in the south of France, the vacation playground of the European jet set.
I think he imagined himself as a small-scale playboy. He certainly liked the good life.
Then the police get a phone call from Bamber's ex-girlfriend, Julie.
What she showed was a completely sinister side to Jeremy Bamber.
Yes, hello. I'm calling up about the Bamber murders.
How he had developed this loathing for his family and was working out ways in which he could kill them all.
And even as police found the bodies in his parents' house, Jeremy gloated to her.
I should have been an actor.
Did you do it?
Yeah, I did it.
She said that he'd considered various plans to murdering his family. Was he going to burn the house down? Was he going to poison them? And so he had, as it were, thought through various plans before alighting on this one.
When Jeremy Bamber returns from the south of France, he is arrested.
As Jeremy is driven to the police station, he sits quietly in the back of the car, remarking only how lovely the weather has been during his stay in Saint-Tropez, and wondering why the police didn't send a more comfortable car to pick him up in.
In October 1986, Jeremy Bamber faces trial for 5 counts of murder. The prosecution presents a terrifying version of what happened that night in the White House farm.
In the house that night, it just must have been absolute hell.
One theory is that Jeremy, an avid diver, wore a wetsuit so he could shower afterwards and have no blood or hair on himself.
Jeremy kills his 6-year-old nephews first. And then he confronts his parents.
Never. Bring the police. What is it? Bring the police. There's something happening. Oh, Jeremy!
And they must have known at that point that it was a fight to the death. He was determined to kill them. Neville wasn't going to lie down and die, and he obviously put up a fantastic struggle. That's clear from the injuries that he suffered. After Jeremy had killed the father, then killed the mother and then Sheila.
Jeremy, no! Jeremy! Please, don't do it. Please.
Jeremy rushes home and raises the alarm, claiming his father had called him in a
You have to help
panic.
me. My father's just called. He said, my sister's gone berserk. She's got a gun.
Dad, did you see that?
Then he brazenly returns to the crime scene and helps plant his version of events in the minds of police.
He was, as it were, directing and shaping events as they unfolded throughout the night.
She's a nutter.
Jeremy had done his job so well on the officers in the nighttime. They all stormed the house expecting to find 4 dead people and a woman who'd committed suicide.
By the next day, the police had made their verdict: murder-suicide. Jeremy Bamber thought he had committed the perfect crime and opened the door to the life of luxury he desired.
Jeremy seemed to have been the only member of this family who hankered for an extravagant lifestyle. He didn't like the relatively austere lifestyle that the Bamber family lived.
After a 19-day trial, the jury has to make its decision. Were these killings the work of a schizophrenic daughter or a psychopathic son? They decide that it's the son.
The trial judge described him as evil almost beyond belief and sentenced him to a minimum of 25 years.
Under new laws introduced in the 1990s, Jeremy's sentence is extended to life without parole, a sentence the English reserved for the worst of the worst.
There was a list of about 25 names of people who were never going to be released, and Jeremy Bamber was on that list.
But there's a problem. Jeremy Bamber may be an innocent man.
If Jeremy Bamber is innocent, we are looking at one of the gravest miscarriages of justice in modern times.
Her Majesty's Prison, Full Sutton, York, England. The home of Jeremy Bamber, convicted of 5 murders, described as evil beyond belief. He has been locked up for 25 years. But should he be?
We have so much evidence that suggests that the full story given at trial is not really entirely what happened.
In 2003, English politician Andrew Hunter received a letter from Jeremy Bamber declaring his innocence.
Originally, I gave Jeremy 6 months when I'd read everything he wanted me to read about his case. I decided that his conviction was unsound, and I've now been studying the case for 8 years.
Andrew Hunter is convinced that Sheila Bamber, in a fit of madness, killed her family and then herself.
All the evidence is that Sheila was heading for an episode, a major episode, of her paranoid schizophrenia. And that in that state of mind, she killed her sons, whom she thought had been fathered by the devil, her mother, with whom she had a very tumultuous relationship, and her father.
He claims that Jeremy Bamber was framed.
Jeremy was found guilty on evidence compiled by the police and provided by his relatives.
His theory is Bamber's relatives did this so they could claim the White House farm for themselves.
If Jeremy was found guilty of this crime, he would not have inherited the estate, and the estate would have gone to some or all of his close relatives.
From prison, Jeremy Bamber has also reached out to journalist Bob Woffenden, a renowned advocate in miscarriage of justice cases.
The telephone conversations I've had with Jeremy would suggest that he's very plausible and absolutely earnest and passionately determined to try to establish his innocence. I thought there was very serious doubt about the case.
The main problem is the initial police investigation. It was a night of confusion in a quiet rural area, and the quick assessment of the crime scene as murder-suicide meant some forensic evidence was lost.
The incompetence of the original investigation was the reason why he was able to make such a powerful plea about his innocence. He could easily go back to documents and find flaws and discrepancies all over the place that led people to think, well, maybe something's gone wrong here.
But as Bob Woffenden pored over the documents, he felt the many contradictions raised by Jeremy were simply human errors. What he did begin to see was a bigger picture that convinced him once and for all that Jeremy Bamber was the killer.
Jeremy! There are only two possibilities. Either he did it or Sheila did it. It couldn't have been Sheila because of all the circumstances, because she didn't have the physical strength to overcome her father, because she didn't have the muscular coordination to fire the guns, even if she knew how to fire the guns anyway. Once you've eliminated Sheila, then it has to be him.
Forensic psychologist Professor Catherine Ramsland agrees that Sheila Bambler is an unlikely killer, despite her mental illness.
At no time had she acted out aggressively, so we really don't have any background in her that would indicate she would suddenly have a psychotic break and begin shooting everybody. I would say it's possible that Sheila killed her family and committed suicide, but it's not plausible.
And just when it seems every turn in the story is complete, another twist. In early 2012, ballistics experts analyzed the silencer that helped convict Bamber. They conclude that it may not have been used in the murders. The killer could have been the daughter, Sheila. So does that make Jeremy Bamber an innocent man?
The silencer has been a contentious piece of evidence. Jeremy Bamber's supporters allege it was a plant.
It certainly looks very strongly that the police were in league with the family to secure Jeremy's conviction.
His opponents disagree, contending it proves that Sheila could never have killed the Bamber family.
Sheila could not have shot herself with the silencer on, as the silencer had been discovered in the cupboard downstairs.
But journalist Bob Woffenden says other pieces of evidence are just as powerful. After the murders, eyewitnesses reported that Neville Bamber had spoken about his fear that Jeremy would kill him.
There were a few allusions to the fact that he was very worried about Jeremy and had apparently said things like, "I must never turn my back on that young man."
Jeremy, no! Jeremy!
And Jeremy's plan to make his sister's death look like a suicide hit a major hurdle.
Shut up!
When his first shot failed to kill her.
We do have cases of suicides who managed to shoot themselves twice, but from the blood spatter on her clothing, it did not look as if she had shot herself, not died, walked around, and then shot herself again, which was the theory proposed. So there are a number of things that would go against the plausibility of her being the killer.
You don't usually need 2 bullets to commit suicide if you're shooting yourself in the head.
When police found Sheila, she was lying with the rifle by her side and a Bible.
But the Bible was not hers. The Bible had belonged to her mother, had been in a cupboard. If a religious person is contemplating suicide and they're going to bring a Bible to lie there with them, they're going to get their own because it has meaning to them. There are passages that have meaning to them. Instead, it was her mother's Bible that she would have had to go find in a cupboard. It wasn't something right to hand. And so I think that makes it look as if it were a staged suicide.
Then, Then there is Neville Bamber's desperate call to Jeremy on the night of the killings.
God,
Jeremy said later that his father didn't want to cause a fuss with the law. Bob Woffington doesn't buy it.
your sister's gone berserk. She's got a gun.
Neville Bamber was a local magistrate. He was used to dealing with the police. The idea that at a moment of drama, in a life and death situation like that he would not have phoned the police is, I'm afraid, incredible. And that has always been a flaw in his story from the outset, and it remains a flaw to this day.
But Jeremy Bamber has never stopped claiming his innocence, running a 25-year-long battle from prison to have his conviction overturned.
There's a particular form of narcissism that we call narcissistic immunity. And that is a person who thinks they're so special and so much greater than anybody else that they have a destiny. He has made statements like, I can't envision that I won't win this. He memorizes the minutia of the crime and looks for any little gap or hole or ambiguity that he can turn in his favor, because he believes by force of personality, he will make this work.
Jeremy Bamber has made 3 appeals against his conviction. Each one has been dismissed. His supporters maintain a serious injustice must be undone.
I'm one of those people who have studied the case very carefully, very closely over many years, and I believe we are witnessing here one of the gravest miscarriages of justice in recent times.
Others, including the jury, firmly believe that Jeremy Bamber is in exactly the right place.
Well, he's undoubtedly a psychopath. In some ways, I suppose he's quite a charming psychopath, and he has persuaded lots and lots of people that he's innocent. The killer ultimately was Jeremy. It's clear that it can't possibly have been anyone else.
Some people will kill to protect a blood tie. Others prefer the family's cash. Susie Lynch eliminated her loved ones in a bloody fit of spite, while Jeremy Bamber keeps everyone guessing. Is he a killer or a victim? With a large inheritance at stake, blood no longer seems thicker than water, and family ties so easily come undone. Till next we meet behind mansion walls, I'm Christopher Mason.